While Maine Life continues to celebrate lifestyle, the Maine Business Show focuses on the people, the ideas, and the industry that connect our communities and build Maine's economy.
From family-owned businesses to statewide employers, we are taking you behind the scenes to show you what it's really like to do business in Maine. The Maine Business Show is presented by SAPI, global leader in sustainable solutions, proudly supporting Maine jobs, innovation, and the future of business. Welcome to the Maine Business Show. I'm Hannah Kumler.
And I'm Quincy Hensel. Thank you for joining us.
Listen, this episode is really fun because, weirdly enough, we're focusing on the youngest population in Maine and the oldest population in Maine and showcasing some really cool businesses that work with both.
I know that Maine has the oldest population in the country.
Yeah.
And so in this episode, it is going to be really great to showcase some businesses that are supporting seniors in that stage of their life.
Right. And this first business we're highlighting really supports everyone. Northeast Hearing and Speech is a Maine company that's been around for 100 years, and they're really making a difference in folks' lives, both on the audiology side of their business and the speech side.
Both parts of the title of the agency, Northeast Hearing and Speech, represent what we do. So speech being speech therapy, speech language pathology, hearing being our audiology clinic. And the audiology piece is my area of specialty. We are the ones who diagnose and treat hearing loss and balance disorders. Because we're a nonprofit, it makes us a very unique practice, and because I get to work with all ages. A lot of times in offices you go one way or the other, and you completely specialize in just pediatrics or just adults and the elderly. And this is very unique that I get to do both. I know that I'm lucky in that. Hearing health is so important because not only is it connected to our physical health and well-being, but also our mental health and well-being. Across the board, for children and adults, we definitely know that early intervention is important. So the earlier we act, the earlier we move into treatment, the better the outcomes can be.
In addition to audiology, Northeast helps people of all ages with their speech, including children. And today we're introducing you to a pretty amazing kid, showcasing how Northeast is helping change his life and how he communicates.
Today you're going to meet Bo. He is 3.5 years old. He has a mixed receptive and expressive language disorder. Bo uses a combination of spoken language, his device, and some signs as well to communicate, so we consider him a multimodal communicator. When I started with him about 6 months ago, and he started with mostly some two-word utterances, and he came to us with his speech-generating device already. This is the animal sounds page. It's very popular, and it's great for increasing motivation to start using a device. It's so fun. All of the animal pages. The chicken? All done with that one. When you go to the homepage, you have more core words. We have thousands of words in this device, so it's great for accessible communication, opening up a world of language for kids. Bo has made so much progress in speech over a really short period of time. He's combining words on his device to create phrases and sentences, but he's also starting to use a lot of longer phrases and sentences with spoken language.
In the last 6 months, we've just seen a huge explosion in Bo's ability to communicate. But the biggest thing for me is, as parents, we often understand our child's, own special language or pronunciation. But the biggest aha moment was when people out in the public were understanding what he was saying, and I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, I got chills. That just is the hugest achievement, I think, is that he's able to communicate with people and we don't have to keep translating for him.
Yeah, he's extremely social. It's so important. His strongest domain has always been his social domain. So it was extra frustrating when he didn't have the ability to communicate the way he wanted to. It was frustrating for him. And that, frustration would come out, but now that he's able to communicate more, he just lights up even more now, seeing people understanding him. It's like he gets it.
He enters a room and enters a building, and he just says hi to everybody, shouting at the top of his lungs, saying hi.
Can you say hi, Hannah?
It's really important to identify children early on, and communication is the foundation of everything. And from our littlest ones who can't communicate their basic needs, imagine how frustrating it would be when you couldn't let someone know what you wanted, or if you were hurt or sad. Parents, the first time they hear their child utter a word, it's incredible for them, especially if they thought maybe that wasn't going to happen.
I mean, really the first 5 years are critical to development. We know that the brain reaches its physical size, so 90% of its physical size by age 5. But on top of that, the development, those pathways are really being established at such a rapid pace. So supporting that when they have a secure, loving, responsive environment, that only enhances their ability to build those connections in their brain, and it really sets them up. It influences their life and their brain throughout the life, and foundations for what we need for success in life.
Every day there's a new word that he'll say that he hasn't said before, or a day he'll say something more clearly and enunciate it in the correct pronunciation, whereas the day before he was saying it incorrectly. So it's just, things are sticking, and it's so exciting to see his progress.
So our next story, you're going to meet quite a few people, but all of them are important in telling the overall story for Transition Real Estate Solutions. Dan and Jules, they're the founders behind the business, and they really are the ones who step in to help older adults when their home no longer works for them. And that scenario can play out in a number of different ways, but what Transition Real Estate Solutions does is offer these sort of tailored approaches to help make a housing transition for our older adults stress-free and seamless.
Well, I think the community offers, a lot of apartment-style living. I like to call it a cruise ship, with also a lot of different services that can improve the quality of their lives. People used to call it independent living and assisted living. Stroudwater Lodge embraces both and offers both of those things, but I think if you ask the residents here, all of them would call themselves independent adults. And so our approach really is to respect where they feel vulnerable. And we try to design customized services where they're going to feel less vulnerable, more safe, more secure. And that's really what being a community is all about.
We decided that, maybe we'd just go right into a senior living. But then we said, no, we're not quite ready for that yet. And then Leah, who we had been in touch with, she said, we have an apartment here I think you'd like. You want to come look at it? That was on a Wednesday. And the next day, we came and looked at the apartment and we said, yeah, let's do it. So that's kind of how we ended up here.
We had visited for a short time, but we did not see the dynamics of the community till we got here. There are various activities, and I'm able to keep some activities on the outside too, so that works.
I looked at the monthly calendar. I thought, wow, there's a lot of activities. There's a painting group every week. So already I could welcome into a community that was built in for me. And so that was very important.
The community is very warm and welcoming. There's all different types of options and programs and day-to-day happenings that I think that embraces life.
This was a choice that we made, but then once we made that decision, it's like, okay, wow, what do we do next, And so I called up Transitions and Dan, and he and his partner, Jules, came out and explained a little bit how this system works. And I said, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need. It will just take the load off my shoulders to think about what we would have to go through to move.
We are the owners of Transition Real Estate Solutions. We help older adults when their homes no longer work for them. We are realtors that have been thoroughly trained in taking care of older adults and all the needs that come with a major transition later in life. We come in and assess what you need to make this transition smoother. We have formed this huge network that we've sat and vetted and made sure that we're comfortable with them and have the same passion we do, and we can help you make this transition very smooth.
When we first meet with families, we sit down with them and we go over a needs analysis to see where they may need help to make that transition as smooth as possible. We slow down and we listen to their stories.
the two challenges that seniors have when they're facing being an older adult, and it's one, giving up control when they don't want to, but also they're trying to discover their legacy if they haven't already, and allowing them to tell their stories helps them find their legacy.
Every time Jules and I get up from a meeting and we see that we've kind of already started connecting some dots for them and help them understand things, it literally is, we walk out and we're like, this is why we do what we do.
Both Dan and Jules sat down with us and said, this is what we can do, and this is what somebody else can do with you. That was a big help. That just opened up possibilities we didn't see until that time. So yeah, I would say that made the difference.
In Maine, the story of SAPI begins here, among the trees. Every tree, carefully selected and managed, is the first chapter in creating some of the finest paper and packaging products globally.
From the forest, the journey continues here to Skowhegan, where for 50 years, the mill has transformed raw materials into high-quality coated paper, packaging boards, and specialty products trusted by global brands. Here, technology and tradition work side by side. The mill houses two of the most advanced paper machines in the world, resulting in sustainable products that are made more efficiently using approximately 80% renewable energy, ensuring every step is efficient, precise, and consistent.
SAPI doesn't just make paper here. We support thousands of Maine families and communities, helping drive Maine's economy forward. SAPI is a proud sponsor of the Maine Business Show, and we are proud to call Maine home.
And the transition story continues. Now it's time to meet some of the Transition Real Estate Solutions partners and resources that really all come together and work to help our older adults here in Maine make that next step into a new housing environment.
At Home Instead, we provide the care people need in the homes that they love. Our goal is to help people stay as independent as possible for as long as possible, so they can continue to be in comfortable surroundings wherever that may be. Many of our clients live in traditional homes or condos. Others live in assisted living, memory care. We meet them wherever they are. We always say that the relationship that they're building with their clients is the most important thing. I think they say that loneliness and isolation is a bigger health threat to older adults than something like smoking. So to have somebody there, at times just have a conversation with them is really important. We work together with many different referral providers, people who work with older adults in all different ways. I think of us as strategic partners supporting one another and making sure that the clients get the services that they need.
Our company, Helping Hand Moves, is a move management company, and Daniela and I are certified professional move managers. We have taken extensive training and ongoing and have handled many moves for older adults that are downsizing and transitioning to new homes. We meet people for the first time, and we spend a couple hours listening to what they are going to need our help with and what their goal is for where they're going.
We work very diligently to create a detailed plan and put in all the various moving pieces. And when they get to the new home, we are there to greet them and give them direction on the furniture placement. So it's very efficient and time savings for them. Our team goes in and we make sure their essentials are ready for the first night. Their bed's made, their personal care items in the bathroom, and the minimum for the breakfast the next day. And then we go in and we finish unpacking and settling in and make that new home, new place, a home for them.
How we work with Transitions Real Estate is really, they get in touch with me when they are working with a client who needs our services. What you find is that the longer somebody has been somewhere, the more they typically have to move. And so that means there's just a longer runway leading up to the move, with the downsizing, making decisions about things that get, things you keep versus things you get rid of, whether that's be donating things, throwing things away, giving things away to family members, all of those things. And so to understand that somebody's had a really good experience with us, that has maybe been worrying about their move for sometimes upwards of a year or two, knowing that it was coming, really is gratifying. and where you truly develop understanding and compassion is when you see that when it happens in your own life, no, there's actually a lot of gray area and these things are not easy. I'm able to sympathize and understand and offer what I believe to be black and white solutions to help guide them through that process.
On the day that we actually moved, it was like, I can't believe I hardly had to do anything. I went in there and they packed the day before. The movers came in the next day, they picked up everything. We took off for lunch. We came back. The movers were here moving everything in, and then she came in with her partner and put everything back on the shelves, put the furniture where she'd marked all the furniture to go. We walked in that evening and we were good to go.
Dan and Jules from Transitions Real Estate Solutions, I hold them near and dear to my heart because they too produce quality services as well as helps transition residents to Stroudwater Lodge.
The Andersons have said many times that it went so incredibly smooth and they couldn't have done it without us, and just hearing the appreciation and then having like the kids be so thankful and just hearing the gratitude.
What fills my cup at the end of the day doing what we do is when someone we reach out to say, hey, we're just checking in, and they say to us, that was so much easier than we thought it was going to be. So, and that we know we helped make it that way.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda. It's time to take an adventure with rugged capability and commanding style. From the Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Hurry into your Honda dealer today.
For over 153 years, Kennebec Savings Bank has been a community bank for everyone. Whether it's providing convenient account access, quick and easy loan process, or supporting the community, our goal is to create lasting relationships rooted in trust and respect. It's always been about integrity and doing what's right for the customer and our communities. I'm Andrew Silsby, and I invite you to come into a Kennebec Savings Bank location and experience the difference.
When the lights turn on, it's go time. Start your engines. Music blasting, lifts rising, lug nuts turning. Nice. We believe in easier car buying. Just ask your neighbor. We're not just a dealership. Our New England roots demanded more, so we built a team of dreamers to keep you driving. We are Berlin City, where life is easier.
Welcome to Rooted in Good, the segment of our show where we're focused on the stories and the people that are impacting our communities. Today, I am joined with Dora Mills, and we are sitting in the Maine Medical Center Food Pantry, which actually used to be the Greyhound Station in Portland.
Yes, it used to be the Greyhound Station in Portland here on Congress Street, and I have a lot of memories of this place from over the years, but thanks to some generous donors, we were able to renovate the Greyhound Station and turn it into a food pantry.
So what inspired you and Maine Medical Center to actually decide to embark on opening a food pantry?
Well, you know, Quincy, we started screening our patients, asking questions about food insecurity. And very sadly, almost 1 in 6 of our patients across Maine Health actually have food insecurity, meaning that they have trouble buying enough food to put on the table every week. I mean, sometimes they even have to go without. And we found that in Portland, as well as Farmington and Norway, South Paris, the need was very much unmet. So we opened up food pantries associated with those hospitals, and we now have a 4th one at Midcoast Hospital in Brunswick, which is a satellite of the Midcoast Prevention Program.
So here in Portland, how many people do you serve, and who are you generally serving?
We're open Thursdays, 10 to 3, and during that 5-hour period, we serve over 700 people on average. We have all kinds of people, elderly who are having a hard time making ends meet because they're on a fixed income, young people who have children who are working and can't make ends meet.
Can you share with me a moment or a story that really makes you proud and is a reminder as to why the food pantry is so important in our community?
Oh, yes. What comes to mind immediately really is that amongst the patients whom we screen, which is most every patient now for food insecurity, the people who have the highest rates of food insecurity are our behavioral health patients. We provide a weekly delivery of healthy foods to a satellite food pantry now, so that when people are going in every week for their group addiction therapy or whatever their visit is, they can also go shopping for free food.
Well, Dora, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing with us how the food bank is really having such a positive impact in our community.
Thank you so much, Quincy. It's an honor to be here.
Welcome back to the Maine Business Show. We talked about our kiddos here in Maine and then our amazing seniors, and now we're bringing them together.
And this next story at the Gorham House is really pretty unique, and I'm very excited for everyone at home to check it out.
I am Megan Pomelo. I am the teaching director here at Gorham House Preschool. We are an intergenerational preschool program inside of an assisted living facility in Gorham, Maine. We have a focused program during the morning, and we spend time with a lot of our grandfriends. Bill Gillis, when he started in this industry in the 1970s, he started bringing his own children to work, and he started to see the relationships that happen between the residents and his own children, and decided that when he started his own business and opened 4 assisted living facilities in the state of Maine, that he wanted to put preschools in them as well. And we are still here 40 years later after his creation of this amazing program. You will get to see the interactions that happen between the two populations. When the children enter a room that the residents are in, or we're walking down the hallway, you see just them all brighten. They have smiles on their faces, they're clapping, they're excited to see the children, and it truly is just such a joyous moment to watch them come together and enjoy each other's company. The biggest benefit for the children is just accepting everyone for who they are and loving everyone around them for who they are. They naturally gain this sense of empathy from these interactions. And we once had a teacher from the Gorham school system, our local school system, tell us that it was the children from Gorham House Preschool that took a child at their school who was in a wheelchair under their wing because it didn't make them uncomfortable. They were used to seeing wheelchairs and walkers. And so they had friended a child at their local school and helped them start the school year, which was just really heartwarming to hear. But for some reason, these special connections happen with certain children and certain grandfriends that are lifelong. We have preschool alumni that come back to visit residents who were here when they came to preschool here. And it's a lifelong relationship that happens, and you just have to experience it. It's really magical.
We're here to entertain the children, or the children entertain us, and they are very adorable.
Oh, the exuberance, the smiles, just wonderful. All of, what the actions they have, reactions. It's fun to watch them.
Welcome back to the Maine Business Show. Hannah, what I was thinking during this episode is we covered the two ends of the spectrum. We talked about the young and we talked about our seniors. And what I was thinking about is like that middle, like the young professionals that we're attracting to Maine, the families we're attracting to Maine, really trying to build that workforce of the future. I see it in my role at the Chamber. I work with people every day. Everyone has a very intent focus on that because we want to make sure Maine is set up for success in the future.
Yeah, and it's those people in the middle, too, that are going to keep all of the fabulous businesses that we saw alive and prospering the way that they are now. And so I just feel really fortunate that those resources we covered in organizations and businesses are options here in Maine. And as you've mentioned before, there are some businesses you just don't know about unless you need them. And so it's really nice to have a platform here to highlight all of the great work that they're doing in our communities here in Maine. So Quincy, thanks for joining me again on this episode of the Maine Business Show. And to everyone at home, please join us again soon on the next episode of the Maine Business Show.